All right, everyone. The New York Times put out the call yesterday, and they're like, it's crucial to stay informed. All the news in one place, and they're basically pitching their so-called news services. I took this as a compliment. Look, if you want to stay informed, you should be subscribed to me cross-platform, and you should subscribe to like Lionel Nation, Mal New, H.A. Goodman, Matt and Blonde, and all of the others. Basically, it's a whole lexicon of alt media, both analysis and real reporting, real on-the-ground journalism. You'd think of like Steven Crowder, you'd think of someone like Loomer, Yiannopoulos, who I don't even really like, but in his defense, he does do this, some, sort of live stuff, debating, making, actual on-the-ground appearances. What you're seeing is increasingly, because you're capable, number one, of actually branding yourself and making a career out of it, and there's therefore technically a financial incentive, and number two, an established framework to do this on, and number three, and increasingly, I would say, alt tech to coordinate it. I would say you can expect over the next couple of years continued growth. It'll be slower than maybe the skyrocketing growth before, but substantial levels of growth of the number of people that essentially form this loosely syndicated alt media. It's not just YouTube anymore. It's taking place increasingly with alt tech. Gab is part of it. Alt tech itself is part of the alt media for all intents and purposes. BitChute is now the favored platform for people who are being censored elsewhere. They're not getting censored there. Gab is definitely the Twitter replacement for a large number of people that have been fucked around on Twitter, often with little or no provocation, let's face it. Their rules are arcane, they're highly opaque, they're not evenly applied. Someone can literally criminally harass you or threaten your life credibly or defame you. They won't get kicked off of Twitter. But if someone says something mildly offensive, they will. It's just like with Sayok. He had openly, credibly threatened several people on Twitter. Still there. Nobody had a problem. By the way, Congress never called for Twitter to be investigated like they do for Gab. Or like when Howard Dean comes out and says, well, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. They ought to be happy they just got deplatformed. They should be charged with being an accomplice to murder and stuff. And it's like, what an asshole, basically, who doesn't understand the Constitution. Thankfully, by the way, Howard Dean, not a native Vermonter. No, he was born and raised in New York. He had nothing to do with Vermont until he started his medical practice. He came here because it'd be more lucrative for his career, and he wanted to be the small town doctor instead. He wanted to live in a quiet area instead of a big city. He made a lot of money, and then he becomes governor because he had a lot of money. And so he was able to do that and said all the right things like, hey, I want to give you freebies. And I want to tax all the rich people back out of Vermont, except for the ones that come from other states and no longer have a salaried income because they're drawing it on their retirement. Yeah, they draw it from sources that the state won't tax, so they build a second home here and destroy the tree lines, thus reducing tourism. I'm such a fucking fiscal genius. And in the wake of him, of course, the population starts its backsliding and industry starts to leave the state. I wonder why. The New York Times is saying it's critical to be informed. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. The New York Times is 100% right. That's certainly not fake news, but you're not going to be informed by the New York Times. You can't be informed by CNN. You can't be informed by Fox and all these other corporate groups. They all have multinational parent companies, or else they're bloated corporations that have obviously taken the bait and become state propaganda outlets. For one group or another, some of them are propaganda outlets that primarily favor just the Republican partisan line. Well, that's basically never Trumpers at this point. You got to understand. So if you want to be informed, you should definitely have a YouTube channel. You should subscribe to all the great commentary on YouTube. Look, there's no reason to watch TV anymore these days. TV's dead. Fuck it. What's a TV for nowadays? You hook it up, using Bluetooth or whatever, or HDMI cable or whatever the fuck you use now. I don't really do this. And you play video games on it, whether console or PC at this point. You use it basically as a computer screen. Or you do on demand. Where's the fucking, who watches basic cable anymore anyway? I would love to do a poll. I think I'll do that. I'll make a YouTube video. Important poll in the description. Fucking participate. And it'll be a straw poll. So have more than like a few results. You don't have to make an account. Like Twitter polls are okay. Like for Snap political polling. Straw poll usually is better though. You can put it cross-platform. There's a different audience composition. The audience on Twitter is a little different from in mine. The audience on BitChute probably a little different ideologically than the general YouTube audience. So I'll put out a video. Maybe I'll do this tomorrow. I'll have a slew of polling. In fact, yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll remind myself. I'll put it in the notes when I'm done with this video. Do election poll. Do poll for like an EU poll, just a general political and news related slew of straw polls. I'll make 4 or 5 of them and plop them in there. That'll be a good idea, I think. I think I'll do that. It's close to the midterm, so it makes sense. And elections in other countries. You just got done electing Bolsonaro, of course, down in Brazil and so forth. The New York Times is filled with crap, but they've finally gotten one right. It's very crucial to stay informed. So they're saying, essentially, pay as little as $1 a month, and you can have full access to all of the information we want you to know. Well, on my channel, like, if you want to pay, you can. You can donate if you want. I take Patreon donations. I take Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff. You can buy a book if you want to, or a mug or whatever. But you don't have to. For as little as $0 a month, you can do whatever the fuck you want, dude. You subscribe here, subscribe on BitChute, follow the material on Minds. Follow it on Steemit. Hell, a handful of people follow me on Daily Motion. By the way, the fact that I have like 1,300, I think it's 1,350 people following me on there, it actually puts me in the 1%ers of Daily Motion. Like, I think the top person there has like 35,000 subscribers. Like, if I had as many subscribers on Daily Motion as I have on BitChute right now, I'd be one of the top 10 users on the platform. I think it would make me number 2, actually. Not a very subscription-based platform. It's more for sort of off-hook business presentations, slideshows, some advertising and stuff like that, and a lot of French-speaking sort of stuff. Of course, less population in the French-speaking world available for the internet. Essentially, France, the French people use YouTube, so that leaves West Africa, certain groups in Vietnam, actually. I've got a lot of viewership there on Daily Motion. Very, very funny to think about. So yeah, stay informed about real news. If you want to do that, look, you can get your morning news, your afternoon news, and your evening news on YouTube. You can get it here. You can get it from blogs and stuff like that. Who fucking cares about the New York Times, CNN, and all these groups? They're run by 7-figure pundits that are paid to lie to you. Wonderful times. You should absolutely you should pay them to lie to you. Makes a whole lot of sense. That's about all. Peace out.